Good evening. My name is Annie Conboy. I'm a medium and psychic, and this is my letter from the light side. An opportunity for me to bring you the information and support from my guides and inspirers that they are giving to me about the energy that we're working in, and the things that maybe we can help ourselves with or pay attention to in the coming week to uh, be a bit lighter in, in ourselves as we go through life's ups and downs. So, not personal messages, but I always have I am always very aware of people's loved ones wanting to put their energy through. So hopefully some of the things I say may be exactly what you need. Just understand your loved ones are always around you, sending their love, sending their support, as well as your own guide teams. So I'm sorry, I'm sitting here just waiting for something to go a little bit wrong. I was meant to do a broadcast at 7 o'clock tonight on a different thing, and I ended up something's just the cat's just knocked a crystal off. There you go. And my technology went a bit iffy because, of course, we've gone back into a Mercury retrograde, and technology is always a little bit hitty missy when we're in a retrograde. And I know that Rafe wants me to maybe talk about the fact that the planets appear to be going backwards at times. The different planets have their own kind of meaning astrologically, and astrology is fascinating. I love it. But they have their own meanings and they represent different things. And one of the things, of course, is that you can get more than one going backwards at the same time, which tends to make for somewhat turbulent energy, because when we have the idea that things are retrograde or going backwards, it's actually about a time to reflect. I often get this with when I'm doing tarot card or oracle card readings. If the card comes out upside down, it's not that bad things are on their way. It's about, right, you're going to get a pause and you need to have some thinking about whatever it is that's reversed in your life. And it's really interesting I'm talking about this because, really funny, I've been away. I didn't do my broadcast last week, of course. I've been away and I've been on a retreat. And on that retreat, I've done lots of meditation, lots of silence, and actually no technology. I had my phone off the whole time. So out of contact with all my normal world things, out of contact with anybody who wanted to book a reading or wanted some information or wanted some healing. Or so really, for me, very unusual kind of pause. Now I'm used to going to my place of retreat where the internet and the phone can be a bit iffy, but this was switch off the phone and that's it. So it was a really interesting experience to step off the world and to spend time with me. And you might have found in this last week that there have been parts of the time when you felt like you've stepped off the world, maybe felt like you've gone into the silence somewhat. And the planetary stuff is kind of helping us with that intention, helping us to kind of reframe things and look at maybe where we're doing a bit too much or where maybe we're not caring for ourselves enough. We get lost in the busyness of life, and we get lost in all the stuff that's going on outside, because globally we've still got so many things that are not running smoothly, just not working right. So this kind of energy that we're in at the moment, particularly with Mercury being a sign of communication, just to be the planet of communication. Rave's busy correcting me. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it exactly as he's giving it me. So he's telling me off. um, uh, it's for us to understand, maybe one of the reflective things we need to do with this Mercury is to actually have a look inside and see who else is inside waiting to communicate. And I mean, the other bits, the other parts of us, the other selves that are in us, we all still carry that child within us, or lots of the versions of ourselves that we haven't quite squared away, and maybe they don't get a voice very often. Now is a good time to allow them to say what they need to say, to be loving and encouraging, and to use this opportunity to maybe focus on self and give self some loving kindness. It's a really hard idea to open up to receive. You say, "Oh yes, I'm open to receive," but when you have to translate that into doing, I know from my personal experience, it's not easy. It can really feel strange, and it can really feel, oh, I don't, I shouldn't be having this. I should be giving it to someone else and passing it on, and my good fortune should be someone else's good fortune. So you might have found this week that also you were having a little bit of a lesson in receiving, and maybe being encouraged to see that you do have the right to have this love coming back to you, or this kindness coming back, whatever that is coming back. And Rafe's really kind of drawing attention to the full moon. And we've got a partial eclipse and another eclipse following straight after it, and we've got all sorts of things going on in the heavens, if you like. But really, it's a way that looking at astrology, looking at the skies, looking at the planetary movements, is a way for us to start to think about, well, don't we always have periods when we go backwards? Don't we get out of alignment? Don't we set up tensions within ourselves? It's a way of helping you to see externally what's going on inside. And one of the beautiful things that obviously is happening is we're into this full moon energy, which is full on. I've gone back to not sleeping again. It's full on. It's building us up to that point of really getting into sending our dreams out. And the energy at the moment is incredibly good for sending out that wish that the child within is also a happy, fulfilled child, because that will mean we're building our resilience and bringing in the sense of being happy, fulfilled adults. It's one of the big things we need to learn and, in a sense, put right in the world, is the way in which we deal with childhood, the way in which as adults we deal with children. We often don't look at children as people with their own views, and yet they very definitely have their own views. So part of this energy is to help you to embrace in that full moon, that emotional full moon, because the moon is the emotions. Embrace the fullness of your inner child emotions, and recognize that that child has been judged in lots and lots of different ways, and you can nurture that child through that process, so that the judgments fall away. And Rafe is really keen for us to heal and understand the judgments of the past. carry nothing at this point. At this point, it's about, what do I want for my future? Who am I emerging as? Who's coming forward? Who am I going to be? And this kind of loving kindness that we can apply to ourselves and say, well, actually, it doesn't matter what I've done in the past. It doesn't matter what judgments are in the past. I've got the ability in my own loving kindness to me to say, I'm going to move forward in the way that's right for me. And I do feel that the jump off energy of the full moon on Monday is really, really going to push that forward. So it's going to be an emotional next few days. You may be wanting to stop communicating. You may be wanting to have silence. You may be wanting that meditative, reflective time for yourself, and you may be finding it hard to get, because we have to make an effort nowadays to get that kind of retreat, peacefulness. And we have to make an effort to sort of step away from everything. That's quite a big ask. That's quite a big effort to make. And we can expect kind of reversal. We can expect retrograde, but not fearing it. Just reminding ourselves we're being taken back so that we can reassess, not to rejudge it and not to beat ourselves up about it, but to go back and go, actually, I didn't do too badly there. Or even, actually, that was the right thing for me. That was the right decision. We very rarely allow ourselves, Rafe says, to acknowledge when we've made the right decision, the best decision for us, because we're so busy wrapping it up in all sorts of judgments. And he often says to me, get a grip, Annie. You did the best with the information that you had. You did the best with what you knew and what you felt. So what does it matter? and I personally feel like that stepping off the world is the only way we recognise that, to kind of give ourselves that sense, detaching completely and recognise, what's life about? Life's about finding the joy in little things. I was at a place where there was a marvellous, marvellous garden, so I was in my element. Flowers, trees, everything. I was going around like an excited child at Christmas. It was wanting to sort of go, oh, what's that flower? Oh, what's? And of course, no technology to help me, but being inspired, feeling the inspiration of Mother Nature, and immediately starting to replan and reshape my garden and think about, oh, well, oh, that's an interest. Oh, I could do this, I could do that. And sort of planning what I was going to do in my own home space to recreate this beautiful reminder of the planet that we live on and the abundance that we have, the way in which we are provided for when we stop and pause and just allow it to happen, that we have life there for us to live. And one of the things we were discussing, which really struck home for me, was about these moments of joy. It was really interesting because I also was sort of disconnected from my guide team, and so when I was sitting going, right, can we have a chat, Rafe? And he was almost, there was a sense of him, but he wasn't there. And it was really interesting because it was a sort of unplugging from the material and unplugging from the intuitive, but to learn the value of both by being where I was. And the discussion we had at one point about loving kindness was about remembering, even in war-torn situations, there are moments of joy. Yes, horrible things are happening, but there are moments of joy. In people's lives, there is still joy. And I felt like I'd forgotten to look at what was joyful, forgotten to notice it, almost taken it for granted. Yeah, my home's comfortable, and my garden, and my dog, and my daughter, and forgotten the joy of all of that. And so I reconnected with something in me which was really special. And so, we were in the run up to Mercury retrograde, and it kind of made me smile. I was thinking, yes, I'm having this pause. Things are running backwards, and it actually reminded me a lot of visiting my grandparents' farm as a child, because there were cows in the field next to us. There were big plump pheasants roaming around. Uh, the bird song was just out of this world. But I have bird song in my own home. I have bird song in the garden, and I don't hear it. I don't listen to it, and yet it's there. And this is the thing about, if we use the retrograde aspect of planets, if we use the pause to reconnect with the fundamentals, with the important things like compassion and love, like kindness, and I know I've said it on more than one occasion, that lovely sense of random acts of kindness. Rafe's always arranging, little kindnesses for me. I It was so sweet that, little things. He feathers. I get feathers. I love my feathers. And bumblebees. Love bumblebees, and they're quite often there's bumblebees around, and it's all this lovely little things, these messages for me to receive the goodness, for me to receive the joy, and that can lift us through the turbulence, that can lift us through the uncertainty of life, because of course that's the issue. Life is uncertain. We have nothing set in concrete or stone even. um, we have to navigate it as best we can, and navigate the energies that we flow in as best we can. And at times that can seem like a really difficult challenge, and we kind of get serious about it. So it's the lightness and the joy that pulls us out of that and helps us. We've had a big upgrade going on, of course, as well. I mean, we were in the thick of an upgrade last week, getting more attuned to our intuition. What upgrades do is they open up new areas of our intuitive knowing. Everybody's intuitive, everybody has psychic abilities, but when we have blasts of energy that are bringing more and more of that online, so you might have felt quite quite discombobulated for a few days at the start of this week. And that's the tail end of the kind of the new energies settling themselves in. And what you'll find in the coming week is that ideas and inspirations are more frequent, dropping in. It's about helping you to navigate this turbulence, like having an onboard intuitive compass, really, so that you can feel guided to trust what's in you, what you're being told in your heart, not your head wittering away. So it was really delightful to reconnect with Rafe when I came back from the retreat in a fuller way. Oh, and here's the cat. It was really delightful. Thank you, Gracie. And also a real challenge to come back into the world and to perhaps recognise everything is still much as I'd left it. No magic had happened overnight. To resolve all of our human issues and concerns. Nothing had not much had shifted, basically, Rafe says. However, that's part of understanding that we do have to make an inner change before the outer world comes into alignment. And one of the things I brought back was to be more gentle with myself and to understand that with the best will in the world, we can't help everybody. We can't do everything that needs doing. We all have to take a share of doing what we can. So, in the week that's coming in, we're going to have that lovely moon and the shadow side maybe out a little bit, so a bit of emotion. Recognize that you're releasing. Take it easy. Notice particularly the dreams. The dreams are apparently going to be vivid. I do feel that we have a crunch point coming on Wednesday globally. We've got several dominoes clicking over at the moment that bring us to a kind of globally whether we're going to go with the fear and react, because when we're frightened we react often aggressively. Whether we're going to react to the fear in that way or whether we're going to, as Susan Jeffers said, feel the fear and do it anyway. Take that opportunity to recognise that we are at a jumping off point. Humanity is changing itself. Humanity is changing the way that people are with one another, and that we've got the opportunity to go in a different direction. So particularly peak time of heightened fear, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I want to say, please don't buy into the fear, don't react to it. You know, sometimes we do catastrophize, we do leap into, you know, something's happening, but this will be the end of the world. We do that a lot. We've trained ourselves to look at everything as if it's you know, the end of the world. The world isn't ending. Humanity isn't ending. We have a future to build for our children's children's children, and what we're doing is rebalancing. We're helping ourselves to be more effective. And once the retrogrades end, they'll come back again, but once retrogrades end, we often find that in that processing time, we've made really deep leaps forward. So be aware that we are around the point of making a leap forward. This full moon is bringing an understanding of our emotions and what's holding us back. That's an important thing to recognise, what holds me back. And that once we embrace the fact that we don't need to hold ourselves back in that way, we can go forward and we gain momentum and we gain so much from that process. So, Rafe says he's finished. And that he's glad to be back. I've had very few gaps in the however many years it is I've been doing this, and it always feels a little bit strange not to be doing a broadcast. But on the other hand, it's felt the right thing to do, to use these planetary energies, to use the energies of the downloads that's helping us to move forward, to use this time to recenter myself and find a new balance, because that's the thing, we get out of balance, the energies make us out of balance whichever way the energies hit us, we get out of balance, and then we've got to work to get back into a balance. But it's a new balance, we're in a new position, and that's the thing to remember, that you're repositioning you and your life and your spiritual journey. You're repositioning how it goes forward. So remember those random acts of kindness towards yourself. Remember to be open to receive, and remember, life pretty much goes on joyfully. There's delight in every day if we can find it. Thank you for tuning in. If you were watching live, it's lovely to see you when you watch live. I know that a lot watch on catch up. Thank you for watching on catch up as well. I love these communications because I always listen back to them, and then it makes sense for me when I'm doing them. I'm not always aware of what I'm speaking because it's Rafe's thoughts or it's my guides, other guides. But I hope that what I've said will help and make some sense for you in the coming days. I will be back next Thursday. I'll be back. I'm actually on my YouTube and my sorry, I'm on my YouTube and I'm on my iPad doing Facebook. Oh dear. I think it's time for me to stop and lie down in a quiet, dark room. Take care, everyone. Have a good week. Bye.